Welcome to Peoria Connections, the monthly television show of the Peoria Chamber of Commerce, featuring local businesses and showcasing their expertise. I'm Scott Soldat, President and CEO of the Peoria Chamber. This month, we're featuring information about hospice options in the Northwest Valley, newspaper advertising, rental property management, and our special guest is Councilor Tony Rivero from the City of Peoria. Tony will be discussing some very important community events during September right here in Peoria. Councilmember Tony Rivero is here to talk with us today about an upcoming event. Tony, thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you, Scott.
Tell us a little bit about the Fiesta Peoria.
Okay. For about a year, I've been talking to people in the community and in our staff of bringing back the Fiestas to the City of Peoria. This had been a long-standing event that the community had embraced. About several years ago, the event faded away, and people have asked me to take the lead in bringing the event back. So I'm happy to announce that on September 15th, we'll be having a very nice festival at Osuna Park.
Great. And what time does it start?
Okay, the event will start at 10 a.m. and end at midnight.
And what will it be featuring?
Okay, there's going to be a lot of activities. There's going to be activities for the kids. Kids 12 and under will get in free. For adults, it'll be $5. And we're going to have a variety of musicians performing. Our two headliners are going to be Mark Chestnut and Little Joe and the Familia. Wow,
that's exciting.
Yes, it is.
Very exciting. Now kicking off that event, though, a couple days before, you have a really big announcement.
Yes.
About a special guest coming to Peoria.
Yes. On September 13th at the Arizona Broadway Theater, former Mexican President Vicente Fox will be joining us for a reception and dinner. And he's going to be talking about the importance of having a good relationship with Mexico. And he's going to elaborate on the commerce and economic development and jobs for the crowd that's going to be there.
That's very exciting.
Yes.
What are some of the preparations that you've been making to bring in sponsors for that event?
Okay. One of the things that I've done when I sit down with sponsors is say, you know what, as our economy is trying to improve, it's important to better the relationship with Mexico. And I sit down and talk to a variety of sponsors and say, we need your support. We need your support. This is about jobs. This is about jobs for people in Peoria. This is about jobs and people in Arizona. I need your support to put this event on so that President Fox gives us insight on how to better improve our economy, how to better improve the relationship with Mexico.
That's great. Is the visit strictly about jobs?
The visit is strictly about jobs. The visit is strictly about Fiesta Peoria. So President Fox will also join us in celebrating the rebirth of the Fiestas in Peoria.
Wow, what a great way to kick it off. And he's never been to Peoria, has he?
No, he has not.
Do you know the last time he was here in the United States?
I've been told the last time he was here was in 2003.
Wow.
Yes.
So what a huge opportunity for Peoria to be able to have that here.
Yes, it's a good opportunity for the City of Peoria. And this just shows how committed the City of Peoria is in regards to economic development and attracting jobs.
Absolutely. If I could jump back to the Fiesta on Saturday, could you tell us a little bit more about that event and how long it'll run?
Okay, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna run from 10 a.m. to midnight. There's gonna be a variety of musicians. It's gonna be a multicultural event. We're gonna have Elaine Stepster, as I mentioned, Little Joe and the Familia, and Mark Chestnut. Included will be a variety of other musicians. We're gonna have multicultural food. We're gonna have performances being done at the theater adjacent to the park. So it's going to be an event for all ages, for families that come together and celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month in Peoria.
That's exciting. Will there be exhibit booths of any type or tables?
Yes, there will be. As our website goes online on August 6th, people can go and check it out, and it'll give you information as far as what type of participation people want to play in the event.
Excellent. So people can actually sign up for a table and get involved.
Yes.
And you're really encouraging a variety of businesses within Peoria and
Yes.
the West Valley to take that
this
opportunity.
is broad. I've reached out to people outside of the city, people inside the city, so we want everyone to participate.
That's great. Is there anything else that you want to tell us about the event that I haven't asked?
All I can say at this point is on September 15th, everyone in the community is welcome to come and celebrate, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, ending at midnight. Families, everyone is invited to the celebration.
Excellent. Thanks for joining me on the show today.
Thank you, Scott.
Mark your calendar for the Chamber's annual golf tournament with a twist. We're selling numbered golf balls that will be dropped from a hot air balloon on the course over one hole, and the winner or winners, if more than one ball goes into the hole, will win up to $10,000 or more, depending on the total number of tickets sold. The ball drop will occur during a special sunrise networking breakfast on Friday, September 21st from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. A portion of the proceeds will benefit the Peoria Education Foundation. After the ball drop, we're on to the tournament. The title sponsor is Larry H. Miller Toyota, and supporting sponsors include SRP, Holly Frontier, Westbrook Village Association, Cafe Quench, Corner Bakery, and lunch is sponsored by Texas Roadhouse. Register today for this incredible golf tournament and community event on September 21st. Joining me on the show today is Dana Oshner and Karen Van Burek from Odyssey Hospice. Thanks to both of you for joining me.
Thank you, Scott.
So tell us a little bit about hospice and why it's so important.
Well, I'd love to tell you about hospice, Scott. It's my passion. Hospice is a philosophy of care for those with life-limiting illnesses, and it has a holistic approach to it. One thing that's really important to remember is that hospice is not a place, although we do have places that we take care of patients on hospice. Hospice is generally home care. It's for those that wish to spend their last days at home. It involves a team that takes care of not only the patient, but the family, the caregivers. We have a medical director, physicians involved. We have nurses involved, nurses' aides, social workers, bereavement counselors, and volunteers. And we come in with a full team approach to take care of a patient with life-limiting illnesses. We are available, Odyssey is available 24/7, and that's what we do when we take care of folks that need our care.
So it's really a whole array of services.
Absolutely.
Trying to meet the needs of that particular patient.
It is really, really something that is unique and different. Hospice did start out with a philosophy in about 475 AD, and it was a place. It was a place for people to come and get refuge and those that were sick and dying. Mm-hmm. But it has evolved and has become a place that we give comfort and support for symptoms.
Karen, Medicare is involved in hospice. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Sure. Medicare pays for not only the team that comes to the home to take care of these people, our patients, but it also pays for, as well as other insurance plans, pays for the medication, pays for the equipment such as hospital beds and walkers, and pays for medical supplies such as incontinence supplies or bandages that might be needed to alleviate the symptoms that go with that particular hospice diagnosis. In some cases, Odyssey Hospice has actually paid for radiation treatments for patients where perhaps a patient has a tumor in the stomach. Where they would have radiation to relieve that tumor a little bit so that they could actually eat and feel a little bit more comfortable.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
What's the difference between for-profit and nonprofit hospice care?
I will start by answering that. There really is no difference. For-profit and nonprofit is only a tax implication. People that receive the hospice Medicare benefit receive the same funds. Any hospice receives the same funds according to the hospice diagnosis. So there really is not a lot of difference.
You know, the focus really should be on the quality of care that the patient receives. And I will say that Odyssey does a lot in terms of the ongoing education for our staff members. We encourage our staff members to become certified in hospice and palliative care, and we do a lot to help them achieve that. But really, at the end of the day, where the real focus should be is at the bedside. And Odyssey Hospice believes that we provide uncompromising, quality, compassionate care at the bedside. That's what we're all about.
What steps does a family need to take when they're confronted with the possibility of hospice?
Well, It's actually pretty easy. You know, a family member can ask their physician at any time about hospice. But also Odyssey, we actually would like folks to call us at our office. We encourage that because we can use our admissions coordinators to talk about the hospice benefit, talk to the family, talk to the patient, talk to them about their disease process, and we can also get the order from their physician to come and see them and actually evaluate to see whether or not they're appropriate for hospice care. We know that decision is a difficult one, and sometimes people don't want to make that. They feel like they're giving up. They really aren't. What they're doing is they are actually extending their lives because we're going to come in and we're going to make it much more comfortable for them. We're going to alleviate the pain and take care of a lot of the symptoms that go along with their disease process. If in fact they're having a little difficulty making that decision, and that happens, we will send a nurse to the home just to chat with them about the hospice benefit. If they feel comfortable enough and they want to come on service, they certainly can at that time. If not, that's fine too. We'll just kind of check in with them periodically to see how they're doing.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is, how does Odyssey get involved in the community?
Oh, I will be delighted to answer that, Scott. We have what we call the Dream Foundation, and this is a grant foundation that Odyssey is able to participate in. And I actually have an example of a gentleman that we were able to give a grant to his spouse and caregiver to attend the Pulmonary Hypertension Convention. This was his wish. He was a patient with pulmonary hypertension, and we were able to send the spouse, who was the caregiver, to Florida. We were able to fund the airfare and the lodging so that he could have that dream fulfilled. We've also provided laptops to family members so that they can Skype overseas and talk with their family members.
Wow.
We assist with utilities and rent when necessary. Just a whole array of things that we're able to do, partnershiping with the Dream Foundation. The other passion that I have is out in the community is this month in August, we are having a food drive with St. Vincent de Paul. And this is the 8th annual food drive. Our goal is to collect 10,000 pounds. So we have boxes and bags in strategic locations throughout the West Valley. We do actually have one at the chamber.
You do?
I brought the box in yesterday. We have boxes and bags over at our inpatient unit, which is off 91st and Bell. So people can drop off all of their
Non-perishable food
items
Yep.
there. So that is definitely one way we give back to the community, and I'm out talking with senior centers, educating them on hospice, educating them on all the health care needs that they have in the community. There's just lots of resources that I try to provide for them, not only our hospice resources. So that's kind of what we do. And Odyssey is also, I want to mention that the Odyssey staff will be going to St. Vincent de Paul and volunteering in the month of August to serve in the soup kitchen.
Great.
And do dishwashing and all that sort of thing. So we're really
Excellent.
excited.
What a
We
great
are
way
Very
to give
excited.
back. And
Very excited.
Absolutely.
thank you so much to both of you for being on the show today. I appreciate it.
Thanks so
you.
much, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Michael Jones is joining me on the show today from Ideal Realty and Management. Michael is the designated broker.
Hey,
How are you, Michael?
I'm doing good. How are you, Scott?
Great. Thanks for joining me. So we're going to talk a little bit about rental property management and some of the
Yes.
services that your company provides. If someone owns their own rental property, why should they consider having a professional company manage it for them?
Well, I think the biggest thing is most people don't understand the time that's involved in managing and renting a property. We take over the whole property for them, so we basically, in a retrospect, become the landlord. So we will find the tenant, and then we will manage it from collecting the rents all the way through to any maintenance issues, and then evictions if that ever has to happen, which hopefully it doesn't. Pricing the property seems to be a big issue right now. A lot of homeowners just think, well, I've got this type of house, I can price it for this because that's what I want. But market does dictate what the prices are. Prices have gone up steadily over the past couple of years due to the rental market being so hot because of so many foreclosures and short sales. sales, those people are moving into rental properties now because they can't buy for another 3 to 5 years. So pricing seems to be the biggest thing, but we also screening of tenants is a big issue that a lot of homeowners can't do on their own because they don't have the ability to pull credit and backgrounds and stuff like that.
Sure, it's quite a process.
It is
actually, to get
definitely quite a
approved for that.
process. You have to be able to have that access to those type of programs, and they have to make sure that you're equipped, your office is equipped to be able to run credits and stuff like that.
What mistakes do you see property owners making when they manage their own properties?
You know, biggest mistake is they become very personal with the tenant. So the tenant and them become like a family member type setup thing. And so when they can't pay, they sort of, the homeowner is like, okay, you know, I understand, or they don't want to evict them if they don't pay after several months. So that becomes, I think, the biggest issue. Other mistakes that they have is they don't know how to actually manage the property. They don't know how to facilitate maintenance issues. They think I can just go out and fix everything when it really comes down to sometimes they can't. So that's the biggest mistakes that we see is them picking a tenant and then the relationships that they have with their tenants.
How do you save people money?
Well, we save people money by saving them time. It's time is involved in this process. It's not something that you can just do on the side. It really is a full-time job, from actually collecting the rents to managing all the maintenance calls, whether it's in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day, and then actually following through with evicting and that kind of stuff. We have a program in our company that's called a eviction assurance plan, so the homeowner can purchase it and then we will pay the actual cost of the eviction, which can go up to about $600. Now, if there are times when they become contested, meaning the tenant says, no, I don't believe that's a just eviction, and then those costs we don't cover because we don't know what the actual cost is, because we don't know the amount of time that comes involved with lawyers and courts and stuff like that.
Sure, absolutely. What do you look for in prospective tenants through your tenant screening process?
Well, our tenant screening process is very invasive. We actually pull their credit. We do background checks. We pull eviction histories. We actually verify that they work where they say they work, that the income that they have is what they actually make. Credit report wise, right now, not a lot of people have great credit. We understand that a lot of people have faced foreclosures or short sales, and we're willing to work with them. We're willing to work with people that have had bankruptcies on their record as long as they've been closed or discharged. The screening process is just making sure that they're going to be a qualified tenant. We just don't place anybody in the property. So that's something that a homeowner might not be able to do if they're doing it on their own. They just find somebody and they're like, okay, we can put them in the property, but we actually will investigate it for them.
Great. So the real estate market's been all over the place.
It has been.
Tell us what you're seeing for maybe the next couple of years.
The next couple of years, it just rentals, I think we're going to still be going up steadily. We've got a lot of investors coming in right now, purchasing the properties, paying all cash. So on the sales side, you're seeing the prices starting to go up. In the last 2 years, reports that I've seen, we've gone up about 30% in price in certain areas. And again, it's depending on your area. But cash investors are definitely dominating the sales market. The rental market is dominated by the people that have had foreclosures and short sales. They can't go and buy another house for 3 to 5 years, depending on their credit. A lot of times they don't go to apartment complex because they can't fit in an apartment, so they need a home.
So you need a little bit more space. Why are house prices still considerably low?
Well, you know, we're not ranked anymore in the top 12 for foreclosures anymore. We're not in the top 12 cities anymore, but we still have a lot of people that are facing foreclosure, facing short sales. Short sale numbers have actually gone up dramatically over the past couple of months because banks are more willing to work with them right now. But prices are still low because of the fact that we do have, or what the banks want to call shadow inventory. There's a lot of reports say they don't have it, and there's a lot of reports say they do have it, but they do. You can just tell by driving around the certain neighborhoods, and you can see a lot of homes that are vacant. So there's a lot of properties still out there that are going to hit foreclosure.
Great. Thanks for joining me on the show
Thank you.
today, Michael. Maximize your advertising dollars in the Chamber's new Peoria map. For a limited time, we have space for up to 40 advertisers to be featured in the latest Peoria and vicinity map, including a detailed map of downtown Peoria and also the new P83 district. Number locators will be used to identify every advertising company. This new 17 by 22 inch color glossy map will feature community information, local attractions, and be available at a low cost for bulk purchasing. We have reserved a spot on the front for your contact information. This is a great option for realtors. Ads start at only $150. Call us today. Guy Erickson from the Daily News Sun is joining me on the show today. Guy, thanks for joining me.
Good morning. Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
So we're going to talk about newspapers today, newspaper advertising. Can you tell me a little bit about the difference between a metropolitan newspaper and a community newspaper?
Well, and let's just take our community. You've got the Arizona Republic that is your large metropolitan paper. It's statewide, covers all of your world news, everything else that's going on, things of that nature on a much grander scale. Our papers are focused on the local communities of Glendale, Peoria, the Sun City area, and of Surprise. And we focus strictly on, local news. So if you want to know what's going on or upcoming events in your community, if you want to know a little bit more about something you saw take place in your community, there's a little extended coverage. Kind of tells you what's going on in your city government, things like that. Gives you an opportunity to be a little more aware of what's going on in the immediate area around you.
How often are the papers published?
The Glendale Peoria Today paper comes out on Fridays. Surprise Today comes out on Wednesdays. And the Daily News Sun is 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, with Tuesday and Saturday being what they call extended market editions, where they throw to every single home in the distribution area.
Great. So what assistance does the paper offer for advertisers?
A variety of things, from very competitive rates. We're considerably cheaper than a large metropolitan newspaper because you are focused to a local area. You're not getting statewide coverage. That, and we offer an array of things that you have the ability to change your ad frequently if you want to. We can run zip code targeted inserts and things of that nature, sticky notes on the front page, just a variety of tools that you can use to market your business besides your standard ads in the newspaper.
And you work a lot with small businesses and businesses that have recently started. What type of help can you give them?
Well, I work almost exclusively with small businesses and things like that. And when a new business is starting up, one of the things that I do at no charge to them is I can sit down and work with them to develop a marketing program and help them get the best expense and return on their investment on their marketing budget. And a lot of times people are surprised because I will recommend other things besides just newspaper advertising or things like that. But in today's market and the changing world with internet and everything else, you cannot keep your eggs all in one basket. You have to diversify your marketing, and you have to be able to measure what you're doing to make sure you're getting a return on it.
And you have a tremendous amount of credibility in that arena because you have owned your own business as well.
Yeah, I spent, my dad and I had shoe stores in the Sun City area for 20 some odd years, and then I used to be a residential pool builder here in town, so I've sat in everybody's chairs, I've sweated out the payroll on Friday afternoon and worried about insurance costs and everything else.
What a great tool for advertisers to have in you and also the paper.
Well, I understand what they're going through, so it certainly helps when I'm sitting there talking to them.
Are there any specials for the hot summer months?
Well, as a community newspaper, we understand what the retailers and the other, businesses are going through during this time. While you probably only lose 20% of the market to winter visitors, it certainly is obvious that people are not out buying like they do in the cooler months of the year. So you need something to be able to entice them to come out of their homes and spend money with you. And for us to be able to do that, or for us to assist a person in being able to do that, we offer substantially reduced rates. I can put a small business person in the newspaper with a 1/12 size ad, which is like slightly larger than a double business card, 30 days in a row for like $10 a day. It's $300 for the entire month. I can go to larger sizes and spend a little bit more. I can go all the way to a quarter-page ad, which will run 6 days a week in every edition of the Daily News Sun, plus Glendale Peoria, plus Surprise, for $900. So depending on the size of the business, I can kind of tailor something to fit their needs. And if that still ends up being too much, we can go to every other week and be able to reduce the costs. I have the ability in some cases to run a small business card side ad for $25. So I can get you a lot of coverage for a small amount of money and help out the businesses.
Lots of variety.
Lots of
and
variety.
Options for every budget.
We certainly try. That's, our goal, to be able to help that small business. If the small business survives, we survive. It works hand in hand.
Excellent. Guy, thanks for joining me on the show today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's our show for this month. And if you have any questions, please do contact us at the Peoria Chamber.